Hi, my name is Jason Xuan, metric number 2012422372. My group is 22A. Today, I want to talk about the introductions of international business management of the Intel company. Intel or Intel Corporation is an American semiconductors computer circuits maker. Santa Clara, California is the company headquarters. Integrated Electronics is the company named Roberts, Ross and Gordon Moore's two American engineers established Intel in July 1968. Unlike the conventional Silicon Valley startup, Intel was founded with $2.5 million in investment circuits by Arthur Rhodes, the American banker who originated the phrase venture capitalist. Intel founder was seasoned middle-aged technologist with a solid track record. When Ross was the general manager of Fairchild Semiconductor, a part of Fairchild Cameras and Instruments. He invented the silicon integrated circuit in 1959. Moore was the chief and Fairchild Semiconductor's research and development department. North and Moore hired other Fairchild employees right after starting Intel, notably Andrew Grove, a Hungarian-born American businessman. During the first 3 decades of the company's history, North, Moore and Grove served as chairman and chief executive officer (CEO) in succession. Intel's first product was memory chips, including the 1001, the world's first metal oxide semiconductor, which was a float. The 1003, a 1 kilobyte dynamic random access memory (DRAM) chips, on the other hand, was a success and the first chips to store a considerable quantity of data. Honeywell Incorporated, an American technology business, bought it first in 1970 to replace the core memory technology in its computers. DRAM quickly became the dominant memory device in computers across the world because they were cheaper and required less power than core memory. Intel became a public corporation in 1971 as a result of its DRAM breakthrough. The erasable programmable read-only memory EEPROM chip was introduced the same year and it remained Intel's most successful product line until 1985. In 1971, Intel engineer Ted Hoff, Federico Fargins, and Stan Fazio developed the 4004, a general-purpose 4-bit microprocessor that was one of the first single-chip microprocessors. Under contract to the Japanese calculator manufacturer Nippon Calculating Machines Corporation, allowing Intel to keep all rights to the technology. Intel's early effort was not all successful. Microma was purchased by management in 1972 in order to penetrate the expanding digital watch market. Intel, on the other hand, had no genuine understanding of consumer and saw the wristwatch company for a $15 million loss in 1978. Intel had a market share of 82.9% in DRAM chips in 1974, but by 1984, the company market share had dropped to 1.3% due to the advance of foreign semiconductors business. By that time, however, Intel had shifted its focus away from memory chips and toward microprocessors. The 8008 and 8-bit Central Processing Unit (CPU) was released in 1972. The 8080, which was 10 times faster than the 8008, was released 2 years later, and the 8086, the first 16-bit microprocessor, was released in 1978. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Hi sir, my name is Alphonsus My metric number is 2012402222 and my class is 22A. As my part is strategy piggyback marketing. Piggyback marketing is a market approach in which two companies work together to represent one other complementary items in a competitive market rather than competing. Because both partners represent each other in their respective marketplace, piggyback marketing is a cost-effective method. Although piggyback marketing is not a new concept, it has surged in popularity in recent years as a result of the increased use of social media and the internet. It is vital to remember that piggyback marketing works best when the two firms offering complementary items are working together. As an example, consider a automobile manufacturer. Typically, a car manufacturer may purchase tire or battery from other business. Tires and cars are complementary rather than competitive items. In relevant markets, a car firm can promote its partner. In fact, many companies agree to promote their partner product. Furthermore, piggyback marketing is not restricted to merely selling. Many businesses publish their digital material across many channels in order to reach a larger audience. Before beginning a piggyback marketing plan, there are a few things to consider. For instance, the target audience, the target region, and the time of collaboration. The most critical element to consider before using this marketing channel is the target audience. It is necessary to form a partnership with a firm that can provide access to our potential buyers. It is pointless to partner with a firm in a different sector. Secondly is target region. It is critical that we can increase our business in this region. Our partner firm may work in regional, national, or even in internal markets. As a result, we must choose how much we want to grow our operation and if we will be able to fulfill rising client demand. Meeting customer needs has become critical for both us and the organization with which we are dissatisfied. Thirdly is time of collaboration. When we pick a partner at the correct time, the piggyback marketing technique perform better. As a result, we must associate our brand with a company that is experienced increased commercial activity, such as a strong performance in the market. This will allow us to quickly penetrate the market. There are some advantages of piggyback marketing, such as easy access to international market. Riders can learn from carrier, cost reduction, easy access to the target audience, and more sales. Firstly, is easy access to the international market. When enterprises are performing well in their local or national markets, they often seek international market entry, getting access to the international market. On the other hand, is a challenge. As a result, businesses are turning to global firms. This helps such firms to build brand awareness and establish themselves in the worldwide market. The second advantage is riders can learn more from carrier. When a corporation assists another company, although a piggyback marketing approach, the rider not only gains access to a new market, but also has the opportunity to benefit from the carrier appetite. We can learn a lot of integrating our marketing initiative with a well-known industry player. There are also some risks of piggyback marketing. For an example, less control on our product marketing, our reputation demand on our partner company, and difficult to meet growing customer demand. The first risk is less control on our product marketing. When we enlist the service of another firm to promote our brand, we run the danger of losing control over our product marketing. This is due to the fact that the carrier firm will promote our goods in its own unique method. The second risk is our reputation, demand on our partner company. Another problem of piggyback marketing is the joint reputation of the two firms. A negative comment about one firm might also harm the reputation of the other. The recommendation and example of used piggyback marketing is Li Bot, followed in Ristin. Ristin, the iconic British chef, restaurateur, and television presenter, is collaborating on this piggyback marketing campaign with Li Bot, a well-known boat rental firm. While filming a series called French Odyssey, Ristin traveled among the rivers and canals of southern France. While cruising, he prepared a variety of regional meals from the city and village he passed through. Li Bot ran a competition through a magazine in which readers could win a copy of Ristin's French Odyssey cookbook. Since then, Li Bot has included Ristin in its promotional effort on a regular basis, and the result has been a big success. Technically, such competition submission assists Li Bot in collecting data from a large number of potential clients. Furthermore, Ristin is a name that has helped Li Bot marketing efforts.
Hi everyone, my name is Yong. My meeting number is 201240243 and I'm from Group 22A. Today I'm going to discuss about one of the market entry strategies that implemented by Intel Corporation to expand into a new market abroad, and it is indirect exporting. Indirect exporting means authorizing a third party, which is intermediary, to represent the company shipping their products abroad. By implementing indirect exporting, the company is merely to be responsible for collecting payment from the overseas customers and coordinating the shipping and logistics. There are three types of indirect exporting, and they are export management company, export trading company, and intermediaries. Export management company provides a variety of services but more focused on exporting a particular range of products to a specific customer based on the country or area. Export trading company is barely the same as export management company. The only thing to distinguish them both is export trading companies are more inclined to satisfying the demand, and the market will force them to buy particular items which they will supply to long-established customers. Intermediaries distinguish into brokers, agents, dealers, and wholesalers, retailers. An intermediary mainly sells a company's product either directly to customers or importing wholesalers. As one of the international business division of Intel Corporation, the Netherlands is the most suitable country to expand into a new market. The Netherlands is a country that is rich in the agriculture sector, and hence foodstuffs makes the country become one of the world's largest exporting countries. The country is lack of manufacturing competencies despite the fact that they manufacture their own electrical products. It has a great population with diversity and multiculturalism, and thus the Netherlands is the best choice to open a manufacturing market-driven industry. The west side of the Netherlands is accessible to North Sea, makes it easy to reach from their neighborhood countries. The port of Rotterdam is the main gateway to the world, which is able to attract a lot of investors around the world. The well-organized foundation of the Netherlands, business-friendly approval procedures, and intriguing legal framework will be appreciated by the foreign investors and companies. Other than that, the relationships between the Netherlands and the United States are pretty close and prominent. The Netherlands is one of the United States' oldest bilateral relationships based on their intimate historical and cultural relations and commitment to freedom. The Netherlands and the United States share a laissez-faire economic outlook and firm dedication to free trade. Now let's talk about the advantages and the recommendation of indirect exporting to enter new market. First, it can lower the risk of exporting as they export their products via intermediaries. For instance, Intel Corporation implements indirect exporting their product through Intel authorized distributors such as Also Holding, Aero Europe, Aesthetics, etc. The risks are relatively low as the distributors taking care of the documents, shipping and logistics arrangements and financial risks. The exporter involves a small amount of work during the exporting process. Other than that, Intel Corporation can attempt to share some work with the authorized distributors that doesn't involve any cost. By doing this, it can lessen the burden of the authorized distributors and probably cut the extra costs on unnecessary costs. Second, it can help the manufacturer to put more concentration on its production. The manufacturer can focus more on the production with great quality and large quantity of products whilst exporting their products through intermediaries. For example, Intel Corporation fabricates a lot of high-quality semiconductor products like microprocessors and computer chipsets without any interruption or interference, as most of the importing things like documentation and logistics, shipping dates are being taken care of by their authorized distributors. Meanwhile, when Intel immersing in their victory, they can probably lower their price per product for a certain period of time. This can be a good news for other countries, especially in the Netherlands, because on one hand, they can expand their products to existing markets and explore to a new market. On the other hand, they can attract foreign investors to ramp up their production and fabrication. Third, the availability of importing inputs. With the help of intermediaries, those indirect exporters can import the materials or the parts they need for fabrication to their own country with much lesser cost, and hence it can help them to save a lot of money. For instance, Intel imported a lot of raw materials and components from China and Taiwan, like bus slots, waffles, microchips, and all kinds of chips, as they import and export products to each other occasionally. One way or another, Intel can try to manufacture the raw materials they need despite the fact that they fabricated their own chips, but this is far from enough. By manufacturing raw materials on their own, they can cut the cost of import and keep the relationship between China and Taiwan by exporting to them instead of importing from them. As for the risk and the recommendation of indirect exporting to enter new market, the first risk is second-hand information. Since the manufacturer export their products through intermediaries or third parties, it results in the lack of connection between the customers and the exporters, and thus, for most of the time, the exporters have to depend on the market intermediaries to obtain the information about their foreign customers and markets. For instance, Intel knows nothing about their foreign customers and markets like the Netherlands because they don't have any interaction or direct contact with the Netherlands. Those tasks are all managed by their authorized distributors, so as the information about products, markets, and customers. In order to get first-hand information, the CEO of Intel Corporation has to do something to resolve it. The CEO of Intel Corporation can weaken the power of distributors by forcing them to let the company handle the vital information or first-hand information, while those distributors handling the lesser importance. Next, the exporters won't be able to control the prices in the international market. By implementing such market entry strategy, the exporters won't be able to control the prices in the international market because the intermediaries are taking control of all of the tasks, which included pricing. For example, Intel chose the Netherlands to export their products like chipsets and microprocessors as their new market exploration. They appointed their own authorized distributors to help them export the items. Since Intel had the least involvement in this export, its distributors can decide the pricing on their free will. Thus, in order to eradicate the problem once and for all, the CEO of our Intel Corporation needs to execute a plan to stop this behavior. They can set a fixed price for those distributors to export the products. On one hand, they won't be able to control the price according to their preference. On the other hand, it can ease the burden of distributors and the company as well. For the third risk and the final risk of indirect exporting to enter the new market is the manufacturers master the least knowledge about their product. Since the intermediaries are handling the exporting task all of the time, they are the people who interact the most with the ultimate buyers, and hence they know the product very well in terms of functionality, performance, quality, model, and more. On the contrary, the manufacturers or the exporters master the least knowledge about their products despite the fact that they fabricated it on their own. They wouldn't be able to promote their products to their customers if they did not know customers' needs and their product performance and functions as well. Furthermore, the CEO of Intel can decide their unique banner and spread it all around the world so they might be able to interact with the ultimate consumers and get to know their demand. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Pey Ying. Now I'm present about strategy foreign direct investment. The advantage of FDI for Intel Corporation in the Netherlands is Intel Corporation can obtain the latest financing tools, technologies, and operating practices from the investing country. The introduction of updated and enhanced technologies has led to the distribution of company in the local economy, thereby increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of the industry. In addition, Intel Corporation can create a competitive market by facilitating the entry of foreign organizations into the Netherlands market. FDI can create a competitive environment. A healthy competitive environment urges Intel Corporation to continuously improve its processes and product supply, thereby promoting innovation. Consumers can also get a widened range of products and competitive prices. Moreover, the Netherlands has a high-quality human resources and workforce. There are several options for hire employees in the Netherlands. The options include recruiting local personnel, hire foreign personnel, or hire both local and foreign personnel. These three options have their own advantages and disadvantages, and depends on the investor, business goal, investment plans, existing human resources, customer needs, and other factors. Furthermore, the Netherlands tax policy is attractive to global investors. The Netherlands does not have a special tax system for corporate merge and acquisition and FDI. Generally, the income of the Netherlands company is taxable worldwide, and the general corporate income tax is 20% to 25%, which is lower than many European countries. The Netherlands does not impose withholding tax on interest, copyright fees, handling fees, and similar fees paid by company. The risk of FDI for Intel Corporation in the Netherlands is lack of risk avoidance and prevention. American investors lack timely information and comprehensive understanding of the overall trend of the international market and changes in current events, and has no clear understanding of the benefit of capital investment in the investment process. If the United States have incomplete laws and regulation on foreign investment behavior, this will lead to a large number of trade risks for United States investors in the process of foreign investment. In addition, the Netherlands is a Western developed country, and its labor and means of production costs are relatively high. The field of projects that the Netherlands absorb FDI are mostly for the purpose of increasing regional employment and enhancing the comprehensive competitiveness of local enterprises. Therefore, when the company come to the Netherlands for investment and cooperation, they should also choose profitable projects. They should not invest just to expand the market, but ignore the investment benefits of the projects. Moreover, the Netherlands is maybe affected by the global financial crisis and the European debt crisis. There are still great uncertainties in the development and European financial markets. The Netherlands economy is highly dependent on foreign countries and other participations in international financial derivative transactions cover a wide range. To conduct investment cooperations in the Netherlands, Intel Corporation should first seriously conduct a comprehensive risk assessment of the project, including a comprehensive risk assessment of the specific project and local financial situation in order to grasp an overall economic and financial development trend of the investment area. The recommendation for the strategy FDI in the Netherlands is Intel Corporation need to establish an information release and research mechanisms to provide information and research support for risk prevention. Timely and accurate risk information release and countermeasure research are the prerequisites for the prevention and control of FDI risk. It is necessary to strengthen the capacity buildings of embassies, media report stations, and other foreign institutions to discover and collect information on the host countries' political, economic, social, and cultural conditions, establish a timely and effective information release mechanisms, build a comprehensive information release platforms, and strengthen the distributions of information from different sources. Sharing and interconnection provide timely information for enterprise, research institutions, and the general public. The research perspective should be further broadened. It is necessary to study the global international risks and the political situation of the host country. Pay attention to the governing philosophy, governance ability, party structure, and political situation of the host country governments. Study the local economic and social development and pay attention to social changes, religious culture, and laws. Policy focusing on the development of strategic, forward-looking, and comprehensive research, improving the ability to analyze, predict the international situation, and provide research support for the prevention and control of foreign direct investment risks.
Good day, I'm Min Li from 22A. I will be presenting about the strategy outsourcing, the advantages, risks, and recommendations. Strategy outsourcing. Outsourcing includes business process outsourcing, BPO, and knowledge process outsourcing, KPO. BPO is the outsourcing of a specific task like technology support. This can also apply to front office tasks like marketing or back office tasks such as accounting. On the other hand, KPO is placing the responsibility of doing research and analyze the appropriate processes to meet a company needs on third-party company. For example, KPO can be research and design, business development, and financial consulting. There are some advantages of using outsourcing as a strategy to expand Intel to new markets abroad. Intel Corporation should outsource computer chip production to NXP Semiconductor Manufacturing Company in Netherlands because it helps company to grow more rapidly. Outsourcing helped Intel maximize its market in Netherlands. Since the COVID-19 pandemic spread in the world, semiconductors manufacturing companies of computer chips like TSMC are forced to shut down due to government measures. It affects the balance of supply and demands of computer chips in the market. Having a production line at NXP in Netherlands will increase Intel's productivity, which NXP will help Intel to produce more computer chips to supply. In addition, manpower is also a critical element to achieve organization's goal. The money saved from outsourcing can be invested in somewhere like employees' benefits, product development, marketing, and etc. For instance, Google is one of the best business case practices which use outsourcing wisely by determining what work can be outsourced and what work needs to stay in-house. Google was able to maximize its budget utilization through outsourcing. Next, Intel Corporation should outsource computer chip production to NXP Semiconductors Manufacturing Company in Netherlands because it helps company to access pool of talents and skills abroad. Outsourcing service provider like NXP specialize in semiconductor manufacturing, which their experience and knowledge in manufacture will perform easier, faster, and better. Netherlands high-tech industry have strong support from government, which will help in research and development, lower business costs, and access to world-class tech cluster. This support will help increase competency of semiconductor manufacturing companies like NXP to produce higher quality products. Labor force in Netherlands adopt non-hierarchical working style, which allow high-tech products push their manufacturability boundaries. For example, Japanese giant Fujifilm chose the Netherlands as their major manufacturing country because they have confidence in the country's talent, environment, and policy. Furthermore, outsourced production to NXP company in Netherlands also helps company maintain its focus on own core competencies. Intel's core competency is to develop an array of microprocessors in a short time. By outsourcing production of computer chips to NXP, help companies to focus on their strengths, which will bring better results in product development. Manufacturing is an important part of any business, but it can be time-consuming and distracting for companies' operations. Intel should focus on product development, create better computer chips which help computer to work faster for users. For example, Basecamp, the American web software company, realized that improving their app was a task that needed to get done, but remote developers could also perform well in this task. So, Basecamp was able to focus on driving improvement into the product. However, there are also some risks of using outsourcing as a strategy to expand Intel to new markets abroad, such as shortage of water supply to produce computer chips and competitor risk. It uses 10 gallons, which is around 37 liters of water, to produce the computer chips. The Netherlands have always been dealing with water shortage. In addition, there is also a risk of creating another competitor in the market, as outsourcing involves transfer of valuable intellectual property and other product or company information to NXP. For example, in the early 1980s, IBM was developing its new personal computer and decided to outsource production of the PC microprocessor to Intel and development of its operating system to Microsoft, which gave opportunity for Compaq and Dell to purchase the two components of the PC and become IBM's competitor on market. Here is some recommendation. Outsourcing has the potential to improve company performance, but there is also risk involved. Intel Corporation should follow standard practices and take security measures to ensure intellectual property rights and data breach does not happen, as the technological environment changes rapidly today. It is a must to have precise security measures of information and risk management policy to maintain the accuracy and safety of Intel's information and protect data from being accessed by unauthorized parties. All information and data should be ranked by importance into highly restricted, internal use, or publicly available. All of the highly restricted and restricted data should be kept safely. Furthermore, third-party service providers like NXP should be examined or analyzed so that the devices, servers, or data which are breached to the provider are secure. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Wong Jia Hui. My matrix number is 2012-40470 and I'm from class 22A. I'm going to be talking about licensing. Another way that will allow Intel Corporation to expand into a new market abroad is through licensing. After evaluating various factors such as marketing costs and transportation costs, licensing is a good option for Intel Corporation to expand into a new market in the Netherlands. Licensing occurs when a company transfers their rights to the use of their products or services to another country. It can also be defined as the method used by a foreign company in which the company in one country permits a company from another country to use the manufacturing, trademark, copyright, and processing provided by the licensor. It can be very useful if the company that purchases the license already has an existing market share in that market. In most cases, companies that provide products with a high demand will choose this method of market entry strategy. There are requirements for licensing to work. First, the company must be sure of their objectives, which is to expand market share. The product used should be patented intellectual property, and the product should have a high demand in the foreign market. The company must know their rights and should work with a reputable law firm or international attorney in order to negotiate the terms and protect their intellectual property before signing the agreement. The agreement must involve two companies. One is a licensor and one is a licensee. If the licensing agreement is an international agreement, the licensee will receive special permissions and resources to manufacture the product in their country, while the licensor will receive a percentage of revenue or periodic royalty payment in return. Some examples of rights and resources are copyright, patents, trademarks, designs, technology, and managerial skills. The company must also have the power to handle potential risks. Also, it must be made clear that licensing is different from franchising. The difference between licensing and franchising is licensing is governed by the license agreement, while franchising is governed by the franchise agreement in accordance to the Franchise Act 1998. The most important distinction between the two is licensing allows more flexibility to the licensee to conduct their business operations. On the other hand, the franchisor has strict and continuous control over the operations of the franchisee's business operations. Another difference is no requirement is needed to register a business under a license agreement before launching business operations. For franchising, they are required to register under a franchise agreement. There are many advantages to licensing. Licensing is a method that requires minimal initial costs. It is a simpler way to expand abroad without worrying too much about the cost or capital investment, since the only cost involved is in signing the agreement and policing the implementation. It takes advantage of the existing company's infrastructure and pipeline, and can quickly generate income for the company. It is not too demanding on the company's resources, so it will not put unnecessary pressure on the licensor. It is a good method to use when the capital in a company is scarce, because it requires a lower commitment, and it is also less risky compared to other methods. Licensing allows the licensor to access markets that are closed off due to imports because of complex rules and regulations of the country or high transportation costs. Also, the government of the foreign market may prefer licensing agreements for their local companies. Additionally, both parties benefit from a licensing agreement. It allows both companies to have more opportunities for future investments. The licensor benefits from the local market knowledge of the licensee, and this will allow the licensor to gain a market stronghold quickly. The licensor can also choose to invest in the licensee company to further expand into the market. However, there are still disadvantages and risks to licensing. First, it brings a lower income to the company compared to the other methods. The licensor may also face the risk of losing control over the manufacturing and marketing operations since they have limited participation, and this can lead to a drop in product quality. The company risks having their reputation tarnished and face public backlash due to an incompetent partner. There is also the risk of the licensee becoming a competitor by using the products provided by the licensor. Some recommendations for Intel Corporation is to sign a licensee agreement with Dell Technologies. This is because Intel Corporation and Dell Technologies have a long history of being partners, and they have worked together for decades. Historically, Dell Technologies have only used Intel processors in their hardwares like servers and PCs. The two companies have worked together to deliver world-class performance PCs that are optimized and efficient. Also, Intel Corporation has dominance over the market and owns 90% of it, so the company will not be easily brought down by competitors, so Dell Technologies will be the perfect choice. Lastly, there are already 2 existing Dell Technologies stores in the Netherlands. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Tanjura from 22A. Today I would like to talk about the conclusion part. Intel Corporation is an American semiconductor computer circuits manufacturer. The headquarters located at Santa Clara, California. The founders are Robert Noyce and Gordon Moore. The recent CEO is Patrick P. Gelsinger. For the strategy, include piggybacking, indirect exporting, foreign direct investment, outsourcing, and licensing. Advantage: piggybacking, easy access to the international market, rider can learn from Korea. Cost reduction, easy access to the target audience, more sales. Indirect exporting, lower the risk of exporting, can help the manufacturer put more concentration on its production availability of importing inputs. Foreign direct investment, can obtain the latest financing tools, technologies, operating practice from the investing countries, can create a competitive market, have a high quality human resource and workforce. Outsourcing can grow rapidly, access a pool of talent, skills about licensing require little expense, involvement or commitment, involves minimal initial cost, not too demanding on the resource of a company, allow companies to avoid tax and access markets that may be cost off due to imports. For the risk, piggybacking, less control on the product's marketing, reputation depends on partner company. It's difficult to meet growing customer demand. Indirect exporting, second-hand information, the exporters won't be able to control the price in the international market. Master the least knowledge about their product even though they fabricated it. Foreign direct investment, lack of risk avoidance and prevention. The Netherlands is a Western developed country. Labor and means of production costs are relatively high, may be affected by the global financial crisis and the European debt crisis. outsourcing comprise water shortage, creating another competitor in the market. Licensing affect the company to get lower income compared to other entry methods. Must worry about losing control over the operations of products. There might be a chance for the licensee to become a competitor. For the recommendation, piggybacking, Intel Corporation can use Li-boat follow in Rick's time weight. For indirect exporting, Intel Corporation can attempt to share some work with the authorized distributors that doesn't involve any cost. Probably lower the price per product for a certain period of time, try to manufacture the raw materials they need, and weaken the power of distributors. Set a fixed price for the distributors to import the products. Foreign direct investment. Establish an information release and research mechanism to supply information and research support for risk prevention. Outsourcing. Intel Corporation should follow standard practice and take security measures to ensure intellectual property rights and data breach does not happen. And also for licensing, Intel can sign a licensing agreement with Dell Technologies. That's all. Thank you.